Hi there, I'm Dave Ward. I'm a lecturer in philosophy at the University of Edinburgh, and I'm helping to organise this course, Introduction to Philosophy. So the idea behind the course is to give you an introduction into some of the different areas that philosophers study. So every week on the course, me and some of my colleagues at the University of Edinburgh are going to give you a quick introductory lecture on some of the problems and questions in the area of philosophy that they specialise in. So one of the first things we're going to do on the course is ask what philosophy actually is. But here's a quick rough and ready definition to get us started. Philosophy is something like the activity of stepping back and working out the right way of thinking about things. So let me try and give you a bit more of an idea of what that means by talking about some of the areas that we're going to be considering on the course. So one of the first areas that we'll look at is epistemology, the theory of knowledge. So in our everyday lives, we just get on with the business of knowing things and believing things and seeing things, quite right too. But when we do philosophy about this sort of thing, we take a step back from that and ask how we should think about what we're doing here, right? So what's involved in knowing something, in believing something, in seeing that something is the case? How should we think about this capacity that we have to be in touch with the world around us? So that's the sort of thing that we're doing in epistemology. In moral philosophy, another area that we'll look at in the course, we're examining this everyday sense that we have of the difference between what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. And we're asking what's involved in having that sense. So is that sense something that can be right or wrong? What does it mean to have the sense in the first place? So each week on this course, we're going to consider a different topic or area that involves sort of stepping back in this way. So we'll step back from the actual scientific practice of constructing theories and performing experiments to validate those theories and ask what's actually involved in that practice. So when we're doing philosophy of science, we'll ask questions like, how do scientific theories actually relate to the reality that they're trying to describe and predict and explain? We're going to be thinking about some questions in the philosophy of mind and cognitive science. So this is going to involve stepping back from disciplines like psychology and cognitive science and asking more foundational questions like, what is a mind? What does it take to have one? How should we think about the mind? And lastly, we're going to think about an area of philosophy called metaphysics. So we're going to consider questions like, are there ways that reality could be or could never be that we can rule in or rule out just by thinking about them? So as a case study, we're going to think about time travel. Does the idea of somebody traveling backwards in time even make sense? Is it a possibility that we can rule out just by thinking about it? And can we know whether our world is the sort of world that could permit that sort of thing just by thinking about it? So those are some of the questions that we're going to be considering on this course. If you go to the COURSERA website, you'll find a little bit more information about the topics we'll be covering each week and about my colleagues who are going to be taking the classes each week. So I hope that you're interested in finding out a bit more about those questions and that you'll sign up to the course.